Alright, here we go, we're live. Sorry for that delayed start. Only 3 minutes, I think that's okay. How are we all doing? Let me know if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay as well. And we can get straight into this analysis here. Bitcoin ended up dumping. What a surprise. I think the crypto community gets a little bit too excited when I say that a drop is coming, but we temporarily spike up by about $500. It is, in fact, what tends to happen when 4Flies gives you a prophecy. The market will drop. And 4Flies is very humble. So, yeah, look, it's not surprising. Bitcoin had the setup to drop lower, and all it did yesterday was it came up to this trend line and found another rejection, found more resistance, and then continued tumbling lower. This is not a surprise, right? Bitcoin is now down at $34,000, and I've been very vocal about how we're going to be getting a drop like this since Bitcoin was trading around over here, right? So that was way up at around $39,000. We briefly went $1,000, $2,000 higher. We're now down by $5,000. So this shouldn't come as a surprise. I was talking very vocally about how this drop would be coming yesterday, and I gave you all the reasons for it. And in this video, in this live stream, ladies and gents, I want to be breaking down for you even more this big problem that Bitcoin has, you know, because right now Bitcoin is encountering a real problem, in my opinion. It's something that I think is quite dangerous and scary, and it could, yeah, lead us to significantly lower levels. So, you know, where do we start? There's a lot. I'm just looking through which actual bit do I start with, and I think what I want to start with before I get into all of that, though, is just talk to you about where this resistance has been on this chart, because it's been abysmal. I mean, there's been a lot of resistance on this chart that's been rejecting Bitcoin right here. Take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame. If I throw on the Ichimoku cloud, bam, you can start seeing that Bitcoin found some pretty clear rejections off this Ichimoku cloud. You know, here's the thing, ladies and gents, and later on in the live stream, by the way, I'm going to be talking to you about something very, very useful. If you've been on this channel for, I don't know, longer than 2-3 months, you probably saw me talking to you about this, but I haven't talked about it recently. I need to cover it again. This is game-changing for traders. A lot of you need to hear this, so stick around on this live stream. But, you know, what a lot of people don't realize about resistance like this, if you don't know about this resistance by this Ichimoku cloud, by the way, please type this into the YouTube search bar now so that you can understand what I'm talking about in this live stream. But what a lot of people don't understand about this is that at first, the rejections will look quite small, right? So we'll get a rejection and it's going to look a little bit like this, but the majority of people who are bullish might be saying, yeah, but this is only a small rejection. We might just trade sideways and then go up. But that's not what happens in a bearish market. You know, in a bullish market, in a market where you are overall bullish and you have been trending higher, it might actually play out that way. But in a market where your overall trend is bearish and your default price movement is bearish, your default trend is downwards, you are in a situation where resistance like this is going to be a problem for the market. And so if you get a small rejection like this, I'm not thinking that this is actually going to trade into the cloud. I'm not biased that way. I'm biased where I think it's going to end up falling significantly lower. That's what I've been saying about this resistance for a long time. And so it's no surprise that that's exactly what we have seen in this market right now. You know, that's exactly what we would see in these kind of situations where we are getting rejected from indicators like this. And if you're paying attention, you would have seen this, right? So this is a key indicator that I've been talking about that could provide some resistance for Bitcoin for a long time. If you have been tuning into this channel, then you would have seen that. So shout out to you. Make sure that you do hit up the likes and subscribe if you did see that analysis. If you're not already subscribed, but you caught that analysis, or if you didn't even hear me talking about it, then you would have missed out on it. So make sure that you do subscribe so that you don't miss out on this content. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers, by the way. That's very cool. And the good news that I have for you, because there is always good news, right? I'm short-term bearish, obviously. I made that very clear. I think that we're going lower, but long term, I certainly think that we're going to recover. I certainly think we're going to pass $65,000 and double it, which means $130,000. I'm going to get to how we might get there later on in this live stream. But for now, you know, I think what's really important is just understanding that these are key resistance levels, and if you know what to look out for, they will serve you throughout time. And the good news here is that because this acts as such reliable resistance, I think it's going to be very reliable support on the way back up. So when this cloud becomes a green cloud that actually gives the trend some support, I think it's going to be really helpful. Take a look at this. This cloud is actually pretty good when it's support in a trending market. Now on the 4-hour time frame, it's a little bit hit and miss. You really have to be in quite a clear trend to use it. But you can see right here that, I mean, the market falls into this cloud, you know, a fair few times, and it does find support. So this is quite a reliable indicator, not only as resistance, but also as support every time the price just kind of falls into this cloud. Because the way this works is when it's green, it's providing support. When it's red, it's providing resistance, right? So this is the only complicated indicator that I use in any of my analysis ever, apart from Tone Vase's MRI indicator, which is great, but I can't use it very well. So I think that's quite important to keep in mind, and I wanted to point that out to you on an analyst's note, because, you know, I'm giving you this analysis, but it's not worth anything if you can't do analysis on your own as well. So hopefully that helps you. You know, I'm not looking to just give you the fish. I don't even want to give you the fishing pole. This is my approach with VIP. I don't even want to give you the fishing pole. I want to give you the instruction booklet to make your own fishing pole, and I want to show you how to get all the resources to build it as well. That makes you extremely self-reliant, and it makes you a very, very good trader in these kind of markets. So once again, that clear rejection, you know, really it's perfectly confirmed a descending triangle. I don't know why it's still up for debate in this space right now. A lot of people are saying, no, we're not in a descending triangle. Well, what else is this if it's not a descending triangle? Like, we've confirmed it just earlier today. You know, it can only be a descending triangle the way I'm seeing it right now, which means that, yeah, the next area that I want to see Bitcoin test is this $30,000 support area. This could turn into quite useful support for this market right here. And we could see a bounce up to this descending triangle resistance, and we could even break out. You know, I'm not ruling that out. What I would like to see is how Bitcoin interacts with this level. If we bounce, that would be a pretty good sign, because we are actually pretty close to the apex. The apex is right over here. We're pretty close to the apex of this descending triangle right now, which is usually kind of, you know, the final point where, you know, the market doesn't really ever trade right up to that corner. You know, so if that happens, then I absolutely think that, you know, if we do find support here, that could actually be pretty big for the market. It could be that we've then had, you know, 1, 2, 3 bottoms at the same level. That's enough to set a triple bottom. And actually, if we zoom out a little bit further, ladies and gents, just to refresh your memory a little bit, that's kind of how the market bottomed out previously, right? Take a look at this. Originally, this doesn't count because this happens in an uptrend, but this drop happens in a downtrend, and then we come back down to test it once and then twice, and that sets a triple bottom in this relative zone, and then the market flies off. So are we going to do something similar right now? The fact that we've done this before certainly to me means that we could do it again. So that's something where, you know, even though I am majority bearish in this market, obviously because this market is in a bearish trend, I do want to acknowledge that it might not be that bad if we are able to find a little bit of support down at this range. I'm just going to take a peek at your comments, see how you guys are doing. Thank you all for tuning into this live stream, by the way. Make sure you smash up those likes if you're finding this analysis useful so far. Thank you all very much for all the support, by the way. It's been absolutely amazing. You guys know that's why I love coming back for these live streams. And so that's the bullish situation, that we find some support off this level. I don't see us doing anything other than falling down to this level right now. That looks very clear to me. The reason that I'm quite confident in saying that is because we've now fallen below the key support levels where I told you I'd be entering a short position. I informed all VIP members about that short position yesterday. I will give you some more of the updates about how that went. This was the information on that short position. Already did manage to secure some profits, but I'll talk a little bit more about that position later on because I'm not actually in that position anymore. However, it has worked out absolutely beautifully. It's just continued to trend lower. I entered it somewhere around over here, and then down to here. This is a, you know, I mean, it's an okay drop. It's yeah, it's a 5-6% drop. That's a 30% profit on 5 times leverage, which is what I was using. I was using 5 times leverage. And of course, like with all trades that I enter inside of VIP members get the full tutorials on exactly how I'm setting those orders on the Bybit exchange. Bybit is my exchange of choice. There's a referral link in the description for you to use for a bonus. But of course, this works on any exchange. The buttons are almost always exactly the same. They're there are very small differences between each exchange, which you probably wouldn't even notice. And then we've got a lot more tutorials inside of the VIP group where people can see exactly how I input the very things that I show them that I'm doing. So that's been absolutely amazing. We've had members that are just enjoying the content and ripping amazing profits inside of this market super impressively. 108%, 74% being at a profit during this crash is something phenomenal. It's something that we've got a reputation for inside of the Four Flies VIP group. Like I said, I did it just yesterday with this Bitcoin drop where I was in a 20% profit, but I also did it on the first big drop that we saw, where actually Ethereum was dropping, crashing down from $4,000. I even made a 35% profit there, which was an absolutely phenomenal gain. Very impressive trade right there. So you know, there's a lot of examples of this where if you know what you're doing in this market and you know how to apply certain tools, which we have tutorials of, explanations of, the theory, the practical, and everything inside of the VIP group, that puts you in a very powerful position in a market like this right now. Because if you're not able to make money while the market is going down, then you are just going to sit there watching yourself losing money, and that's going to put you in a very weak position when things start getting quite exciting again. You want to make sure that you're in a strong position psychologically and with your account before things start rallying up again, because obviously they most likely will. And when that happens, would you rather be in a strong position or a weak position? You know, it's a pretty easy decision to make, in my opinion. If you think you're trending down for a long time, then here we go. We're still making money on the way down. And of course, we've got all the tutorials to teach you exactly how I'm doing what I'm doing, giving you all the information, that everything I know about trading laid out from A to Z in our advanced trading course, which you can find by following these steps on screen right here. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the app Four Flies button to ask me how to join VIP. Click on send message to do that, to ask me how to join VIP. These 3 steps will take you into VIP. We'll send you all the information about it. Am I a registered financial advisor? Absolutely not. So don't use what I'm using, what I'm giving you as financial advice. They're just my opinions, and I'm actually an idiot, so you shouldn't be listening to me anyway. But let's take it back to the analysis now. And remove some of these things and refocus your attention back on this. So I certainly think that we are going to be finding some interaction with this price level. You know, we could also, you know, one of the other examples, other than just, you know, rocketing up above this resistance line with my diagonal blue line right here, another alternative is that we kind of find a rejection here and trade back down, or we kind of just trade sideways here and then trade down. They're kind of the same thing. It doesn't really matter if we do this or if we do this. They would both mean the same thing to me. It would be more fun if we went up first and then back down, but it would be more predictable, and actually I'd feel a lot safer if we just traded sideways here. If we hit this range and we just kind of start trading sideways, I'm going to become pretty bearish. I'm actually going to, I'm going to really think that this is going to tumble. And then the final option is obviously that we just completely plummet right through this level. It's possible. It's happened. It's not like we haven't seen that happening in this market already, you know, so you can't rule it out, but obviously it's not the most likely thing to happen. If we do drop below this level, that's where we start talking about the next support levels, because if we've fallen below one area of support, then we need to find support in other places. And the reality is that there's actually a fair few support levels in this range. It's just that I don't think any of them are strong below $30,000, and that's the big problem for Bitcoin that I'm explaining to you in this live stream today, ladies and gents, where you know, this is a situation where you know, we could be in a good place, you know, in terms of finding support at a lot of support areas. It's just that there aren't many good support areas, you know, and if we're failing, you know, what I would consider to be fairly strong areas of support, well, then I have to imagine that we're going to have to fall down to another strong area of support. You know, if a strong area of support cannot keep Bitcoin up, then I don't see how a weak area can do that as well. And that's what starts becoming quite concerning. So if I were to draw for you where I'm seeing some of these support areas, they would all be, of course, above $20,000. And all I'm looking for is a little bit of consolidation. So first of all, $20,000 would be the first and easiest, best support area. I would draw this at 19,800, which happened to be the previous all-time high from 2017. And then all I'm looking for are little areas of consolidation like right here, or pullbacks like right here, because this is a significant market reversal point. You can see that the market falls down to this level and then rebounds upwards massively, showing you that this area is actually quite a charged area in the market where a lot of buyers were happy to step in. So this makes it an important support area in my opinion as well. And I'm gonna go, like I said, a little bit later on in this video and talk about something very important about how you can trade these kind of things, and that'll help you reframe how you approach the trading side. This is extremely important to keep in mind, so make sure that you stick around for that. I'm gonna get to that in just a bit. That's probably gonna going to be the best part of this live stream today. It's something that I demonstrate quite a lot on this YouTube channel, but if you're not subscribed or you haven't been from a few months ago, you might have missed it. So definitely make sure you hit up those likes and subscribe if you are enjoying this one so far. But this would certainly be another potential area of support for me, and I'll actually zoom in just a little bit further so I can show you how this looks a little bit more clearly. And look at that, by the way. This is just such a clear beginning of a waterfall sell-off right here. It's exactly what we've been expecting on this channel for so long. You know, I've been getting called out a lot for how when I'm saying it's going to go down, it goes up by like $1,000 and everyone's losing their shit. But from my entry level where I took up a short position on Bitcoin, it's now dropped by about $3,000, you know, which is absolutely huge, you know. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. But now sticking to this chart right here, I want to draw some support levels. We can see that Bitcoin found some support around the 22,600 level and some resistance around the $24,000 level. So what I'm going to do is just draw a box kind of right here, demonstrating that we could find support kind of anywhere in this range, to be honest. And I'm going to draw this box quite far. And then the next one is, well, I mean, it's pretty clear, you know. Hopefully you're getting the general idea of how I draw my support levels right now. There is a full video dedicated to this inside of the Four Flies Academy, by the way. That's in the regular course, our $500 course, and in our $2,700 course. It's included in both. So if you are inside of VIP, you might already have access to it. Ask me for the information about it, and if you would like access to it, you can reach out following these three steps on screen right now. Pause the live stream right here and go ahead and follow these steps. It'll only take you about 30 seconds. Some people have mentioned that when they click the first link, it just takes them to a blank screen. If that happens, you do actually need to download the Telegram app on your app store, on your iPhone or on your Android device. This is basically the WhatsApp for traders. So if you're a trader but you're not on Telegram, that means that you're missing out on a lot of critical information and you're shooting yourself in the foot. So don't just do it for this channel, because this is where we host everything. This is where we can send alerts to your phone of more analysis and my insights on my trade setups and things like that. But it's also where you're going to be getting a lot more crypto related, trading related stuff. So make sure that you're on that app. You'd have to download it on either iOS or Android. It's a huge app. It's basically like WhatsApp for traders. So definitely check it out. But you shouldn't need to download anything if you follow this link. It should just take you to the web version, which doesn't even have a sign up process. So it's very easy to ask me for information. But let's take it back to the chart right here. This is another key area that I think Bitcoin could find as support. You know, we bounced off this level quite nicely. In between, there's nothing. You can see that Bitcoin just kind of rocket ships upwards, and it doesn't really encounter any trouble until the $26,000 area. So that's why between 24,000 and 26,000, I've just got a gap here. This is effectively a vacuum where if Bitcoin were to fall into this gap, it's probably going to fall right down to the other side. If it were to pump out of this gap, it's probably going to go right up to the other side. Nothing really happens in between, and that's exactly what we're looking for as traders. As traders, this gap, you know, if I measure it for you, this is a pretty good gap. This is like 15%. I'm sorry, this is not nearly 15%. This is only 8%. But an 8% gap is pretty damn good. You know, this is a very predictable gap. This is something that you could see coming from quite far away. So actually what I even did on the way up, and all VIPs saw me doing this, was right around, I don't know, somewhere here, I decided that I'm going to go long on Bitcoin if Bitcoin passes this level. And I actually, like I said, I have a tutorial inside of VIP right here. You can even copy this link if you want to watch this VIP exclusive content. It's fine, I don't mind. You can literally type this URL. I should have blocked this out. That was a little bit stupid. But you can watch that video where I'm showing you how I'm setting those kind of orders, and then we have more tutorials and things like that where I'm showing VIP members exactly how I'm entering those kind of trades, where I decided that I'd be going long here precisely because of this, because I saw that Bitcoin established some resistance over here. So there's probably going to be a little bit of a vacuum, so to speak. That's embarrassing. A little bit of a vacuum, so to speak, where Bitcoin could end up trending higher significantly more before finding some resistance, which is exactly what happened, because Bitcoin actually had a straight shot all the way up to $28,500 before it ended up coming back down. This is around where I closed my position. It was either over here or over here, and it turned into a 380% profit. It was absolutely huge. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was yeah, it must have been something like 380. I don't even remember, but it was a pretty damn good profit, and it's very predictable, you know. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. That's exactly why I said I'd be going short below 36 and tending to close around 32, because there's a similar gap like that in our current price range, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But For now, this was the support I'm seeing around 24. The next one I would be seeing around this range. So I could, to be honest, just draw another box. I think that would make my life quite easy. And I certainly think that it's a safe, healthy way to draw a support level using boxes. It basically gives you some space for nuance. So let me draw the box as wide as the previous one, and as long as the previous one even. And then the final one, I don't want to spend too much more time talking about this. It is going to be right around here at $28,000. And that would be, the final area of support that I'm seeing. So if Bitcoin were to plunge below my blue box, which probably stretches all the way down to about here, my blue box on the main chart that I use, it looks a little bit like this, then yeah, I certainly think, what have I done? That's annoying, sorry, bear with me. I need to change the color of this to blue. Bam, there we go. And zoom out on this chart. Yeah, so I think this paints a pretty clear picture right now. If Bitcoin were to drop below this blue box, then I think it's going to be meeting some of these green boxes right here. I've shown you how I draw them as support, so hopefully that was useful for you as well. If it was useful, please do smash up those likes. And if we do end up dropping below this blue box, that shows you that I'm only seeing support at these green areas. So each of these gaps are effective trading ranges, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say that I would trade them, because some of these are too big. Some of these are too small. Some of these are too messy. So I certainly, I would consider trading this one, but it's only 5%. And I do think there's a decent chance of support at 28,000. It would make sense because it would be just a slightly lower low, and then the market re-enters bull phase. That would actually be quite typical of Bitcoin. So I wouldn't rule that out. But that's a 5% range. Below this is not a safe trading range at all, in my opinion, but it doesn't need to be, because this is weak support, in my opinion. Bitcoin only traded sideways here for a couple of days, if that, whereas over here Bitcoin traded sideways for about 8 days. So I certainly think that there's a lot of reason that Bitcoin could collapse at these kind of levels. Even though there is a little bit of support, it would probably have to gravitate towards an area of support that's a little bit stronger. So that is something that I definitely would want you guys to keep in mind right there. I would be seeing some support here, but they're not particularly strong. So 24,000 is the next strong area of support that I'm seeing. And the reason I'm seeing it as strong support is because we consolidated here for a little bit more time than the other areas. So relative to the other areas, this area looks pretty strong. The longer you consolidate, typically the stronger support becomes. And that actually, that paints my overall point, which is that this in itself is not even that long. Bitcoin only spent about 8 days here, whereas the next area of support is at the $20,000 range, and Bitcoin spent about 30 days consolidating here. So take a look at this. From this point where Bitcoin entered that kind of $18,000, $19,000 range to the breakout point, it took Bitcoin about 28 days to break out. That's a lot more time to be trading in a range, and that's where I'm going to be drawing my final area of support. This is where I think Bitcoin has the best chance of getting a very healthy rise up from. Of course, it's the $20,000 level, perhaps even just a little bit higher, perhaps a little bit lower. It doesn't really matter, but just around that range, that's where I'm seeing the best place for Bitcoin to find some support is right now. And again, that's the problem. That's the problem, because right now that level is $13,000 away. That's about another 30% drop away. That's pretty substantial, 40% drop. So, when Bitcoin sees drops like this, it does trigger long-term bear markets. So, just because this price correction would be pretty healthy for the trend, it doesn't mean that it would be healthy for the market overall. It might mean that we're stuck trading lower for quite a long time, that we're going to struggle to regain some of that bullish momentum. Now, this is a very anomalous bear market in that it doesn't bull market, and that it's not moving in the way a typical Bitcoin bull market would. This is quite a strange one. It's been very aggressive. The drops have been very, very aggressive. We've never really seen this before. So obviously uncharted territory, everything that you might expect me to be saying. But that's where I think Bitcoin could be finding support if we end up dipping lower. This is the worst case for Bitcoin. This is all just the worst case. And, I've spent a lot of time talking about it, but that's because I have to. That's kind of my job, right? Like, I can't just say that, okay, this isn't, really likely to happen, so I'm not going to entertain it too much. Like, no, I have to run every idea all the way to its end just so that I can get an informed picture of what might happen in this market. So this is kind of the worst case that Bitcoin ends up dipping down here. It's obviously very likely that a lot of buyers will be stepping in well before this time, and they're going to be taking Bitcoin significantly higher. It would not be surprising to see a big V-shaped correction that looks a little bit like this, that takes Bitcoin way above $40,000 very quickly when we hit some minor area of support, even some Fibonacci level, a moving average, whatever. It wouldn't be surprising at all if we saw something like this in this market right now, because that's what Bitcoin is known for. But that's all on the bearish side, and that is what I need to be entertaining in this market right now, because right now we are pretty clearly in a fairly bearish trend, in my opinion. If we take it back to our Coinbase chart, it could be that we are actually in, somewhat of a, kind of sideways trading range that might look a little bit like this. This would be very healthy for the trend, but again, it would just be a big continuation pattern before we end up dropping lower. It would be another variation of what we've done many times in this trend already, where we'll be trading lower, then we'll trade sideways and break down, then we'll trade upwards and break down, then sideways, break down, sideways, break down. Again, we're just kind of trading sideways right now before potentially breaking down, and that's what the trend is telling us right now. That's why in this kind of market, taking up short positions, whether it's on large drops like this or smaller drops like this, it can put you in a very powerful position. A lot of VIP members have been doing that in this market right now and are seeing some very nice profits. And like I said, I even decided to do that just yesterday inside of VIP, where I informed VIP members exactly how I'd be trading this move, and then gave them the updates on my profits. So at the moment, this would be in about, over a 30% profit right now, but I made the mistake of actually moving my stop loss down to break even too quickly. So while I did secure some profits earlier on in the trend, the rest of my position was closed at break even. So I didn't lose any money, and I have still made money on that trade, but of course by now it could be in a much bigger profit. So my lesson there, and I've actually already put this down in my trading journal, is that I moved my stop loss a little bit too quickly. I was a little bit too scared, so I moved my stop loss too quickly, and that's what took me out of my position, because this move up stopped me out of my position, and I could have stayed in my position to now be in a much bigger profit. So that's where I've got to learn a little bit about my trades, and then adjust them moving forward. So this is the process that VIPs also get to see right as it happens in real time. VIP members get the information on the trades I make, where they're just all around beautiful, perfect trades, a textbook easy 35% profit on Ethereum, or when I've sold my Ethereum holding significantly higher. But also these kind of trades, which, they had the setup to be absolutely amazing. I stood to make more than 50% profit on this trade if I had kept it open down to $32,000. But unfortunately, I did have my stop loss take me out of this position prematurely. So even though I did secure some profits on this trade, they're not as big as they could have been. So that's the process that VIPs are going to be seeing, how I'm going to be fine-tuning this as time goes on, so that while I'm keeping my capital safe, I'm also making sure that I'm maximizing the gains I can make. A lot of people screw this up. A lot of people are just aiming for home runs, and that's where they get screwed over. They're putting too much money into drops. They're shooting themselves in the foot with bad decision making. They're not exercising good enough risk management, so they don't even have problems like this. Their problems are not that they got stopped out of a good position and they made a small profit. A lot of people's problems are usually they didn't even put a fucking stop loss and they got liquidated, or they suffered a minus 50% loss. And I can't remember the last time I had a problem like that, because I had to pick up some good trading discipline and good trading hygiene. So what I want to present to you now, where I'm focusing on this more trading side of things, is actually an alternative which I think works much better in the long run. And if you've lost money, then now's the time to pay attention to this. And of course, by the way, if you're not already signed up to Bybit, this is where I'm doing all of my trades. So the link to Bybit is in the description down below. We're right at the end of May right now, which is where the $1,600 trading bonus for you guys ends. So make sure that you follow that link in the description down below to sign up to Bybit and make some deposit to cash in on that welcome bonus. You don't have to do it. You don't even have to use Bybit. There are a lot of alternatives, but this is my favorite exchange. I've been with them for years. I even have a partnership with them, so I love them, and decided to work with them because of how good they are as an exchange. They're linked in the description down below, where you can sign up to them and get that welcome bonus. I'm in the United States right now, so every time I use it, I'm using a VPN. That's something that you're going to have to do, but I can't, of course, recommend it, although everyone I know also does that, and I've never heard of an issue. But of course I can't tell you to do that, and in fact I should tell you that you shouldn't. But great exchange right here. And what I actually want to focus your attention on this kind of trading side is how you can really stand to gain much more attractive numbers in much healthier ways. While a lot of people are going to be looking for big home run profits where they would want to short Bitcoin up here, which to be honest was actually a fairly easy short. In hindsight, it was very obvious, and I'm sure a lot of very smart people would have traded this. But people would want to call tops like this, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. I think it's much easier to enter positions the way I did. It obviously would have worked out very well if I stayed in that position. A lot of VIP members have been making trades like that, ripping beautiful profits. A lot of people are going to be aiming for gains like this every time, but the thing is that you have to wait for them. They come to you, you don't go to them. And a lot of people tend to miss that. So to reframe yourself, what I'd like to do is demonstrate to you how you can still turn very small amounts of money into significantly large amounts of money, into significantly larger amounts, doing something quite straightforward, which is just looking for hitting these small, easily achievable, reproducible profits. You can multiply your money 20x on Doge or on XRP if you get in at the right time and out at the right time, and that's cool, but that's not reproducible. You can't do that tomorrow. You can't do that next week. You can't do that next month. That depends entirely on the state of the market and how stupid the rest of the people in the game are. Obviously you're going to be quite open to risk, and I think stupid risk at that if you're dabbling in altcoins right now, things like that. If you're jacking yourself off to Matic or whatever because that's exciting to you, the main issue with that kind of thing is that you can't reproduce those profits. If the market is no longer excited, you can't do it. That's the edge that people like myself have inside of the VIP group. When the market is dropping, we can still make predictable, reproducible profits, and that's where the gold is. That's what people don't understand when they first start trading crypto, because they're just looking for lottery ticket success routes. That's what people don't get. What we want to do is actually reproduce this over time so that we can keep hitting these gains over the weeks, over the months, so that by this time next year, your results are not recognizable. So what does that look like? Let's take a starting balance of $5,000, a pretty easy starting balance, something that a lot of people watching might have. It's an easy number to work with. And let's say that instead of aiming for a 100% profit like that VIP member I showed you had, we're just aiming for a 20% profit, and a 20% profit, to put it into perspective, well, my trade from yesterday already would have been in a 30% profit. When I made this post inside of VIP, it was at a 20% profit, so that's a pretty easy profit to hit. It's something that you can get pretty easily. If I demonstrate to you exactly how, and this part is gold, by the way, so if you're enjoying this so far, please do smash up those likes and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is what this channel is all about. You're not going to get this anywhere else. This is all about the precise intricacies of trading, where if you get them, it's going to really set you very, very far ahead of the competition. And that's what this game is. You're taking money from your competition, so you need to understand these kind of concepts. That's what this channel is about. So if you find those kind of things helpful, then please do smash up those likes and subscribe if you're new to this YouTube channel. It really helps me out, and of course it's going to mean that you keep on getting this amazing content. But to demonstrate to you how easy it is to hit that kind of profit, if you're using 10 times leverage, that can be, let's say you've decided to take the same short entry I had, or let's just make it easy. Let's say you shorted up here and you're using 10 times leverage. What would it take to hit a 20% profit? Well, the market would need to drop down to here. The market would need to drop down by $800 at this price range. Just down here, this move would be a 20% profit. That's it. On 5 times leverage, it would be double that, so it would be about $1,600 move. So only this much of a drop on a short position would pull you a 20% profit. That is to say that if you've picked a good level to enter a short or long position, and you can't just put out stupid positions and hope that you hit it well, by the way. I've tried that back when I was younger. It doesn't work. You've got to be methodical with it. Here's an easy one. This resistance level, this was an easy resistance level to decide, right, I'm gonna enter a short position. If you took on a short position here with 5 times leverage, you would need to hit a 4% drop. A 4% drop multiplied by 5 would be a 20% profit. This is the range you need to trade. This is very small. This is very easily achievable, and you can get them a lot. You know, this is the point. Like, I've just shown you one right here. You can get another one right here. These are quite predictable. I'm showing you things that you might actually consider trading. Maybe you would go short below this support level. You'd already be in a 20% profit, you know, with 10 times leverage, for example. Just showing you how easy this is to hit. This is a lot easier than timing a top like this and closing a short position down here. That's really hard. Not only is it hard because you have to time the top, you have to get that right, you also have to keep that position open after a rebound, and you know, after many things that might make you lose confidence in your position, you have to keep that position open, which means that you're now relying on yourself to stay calm and stable when things are absolutely crazy. It's just not realistic for most people. So catching tops like this, trading them down here, not gonna happen for most people. You know, that I think is really important. This is much easier. You're just in a trade and you're in a 20% profit. Literally hours later, you can close it. This is the point. This is where we start hitting gold, ladies and gents. This is where, you know, you're turning something that you can see pretty easily. It's not out of this world. You know, going short of resistance, who would have thought of that, right? Like, that's the most common thing that you would do in the market. You go short of resistance levels. No shit, right? Like, that's very obvious. And so, and then you would hit those profits pretty quickly. And all I'm saying here is when you hit those kind of targets, you close. So 1.2. What is a 20% profit on 5,000? It's a $1,000 profit. But what if you got that 3 times in a row? You know, because I've now shown you how easy it is to reproduce that. I've shown you how easy it is to spot those opportunities, how you're not gambling when you do it, you know, because you're using good TA, you're using good risk management. So you have $5,000 to trade, but that's not your whole portfolio. You're not doing this, you know, with only if you only have $6,000 in your account, you're not trading with 5,000. You'll be trading with much less. So you are exercising risk management, and now you've pulled that profit 3 times in a row. Bam, $8,600. You know, I can't state to you guys clearly enough how powerful this is, right? You've nearly doubled your money, right? You've nearly doubled your money. You're 30% away from doubling your money just with 3 easily reproducible profits. This is not something that your average shitcoin holder can pull off. They have to, you know, really carefully select what they're going to hold. They have to listen to a bunch of YouTubers and be stressed out and confused about which coin to hold, because none of the coins make sense. None of them really have real use cases in the world. You're just artificially creating them in your head so that you can justify a shitty investment. You gotta do all that hard work, or you exercise a little bit of risk management, you learn a little bit of TA, and then you aim for reproducible profits that you can make, you know, every week, every month, whatever. It depends on what your goals are, or more importantly, it depends on when they come to you in the market. And that's where you can start hitting these kind of numbers. So you've got $8,600 now. Let's go for another round of that. Let's say you're doing that again, and you hit another 3 20% profits in a row. You're now at $15,000, ladies and gents. You're now at $15,000. That's after 2 rounds of 3 20% profits. Fairly easy to reproduce, of course, assuming a 100% success rate. It's not going to happen. It's much more difficult in real life. But just to reframe what the goals should be, in my opinion, what my goals are, your starting balance of $5,000 has tripled into $15,000 doing things that are not difficult. This is the point, right? Like, it's easier to hit these kind of numbers than it is to hit a shitcoin going 100x. It's easier to hit this kind of profit than it is to buy Ripple before it has its massive pump and then sell it before it has its massive subsequent dump. It's easier to do this than it is to ride a Doge train, because you cannot reproduce those things. You can't reproduce, you know, 2 months from now, you can't do that. Today, you can't do that, but a leverage trader can do that, and that's the point where, you know, if you're doing this healthily, if you're doing this in a healthy way, you actually stand to be in a much stronger position in this market to take advantage of what's going on. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is I know that a lot of people are going to, you know, have already lost money in this market, and they just don't know what they want to do. They don't know how to do it, and different things like that. And so what I'm presenting to you here is something that you maybe have never considered, just the power of compounding. At the end of the day, this is what we're going for. How did the richest families in the world get rich? They bought a bunch of property, they did something very boring, they held on to it for a long time, they enjoyed a 10% profit every year for many years. And when you keep hitting 10% gains, continuously, predictably over time, it's going to start off being very little money. It's just going to be change, right? $1,000, you get a $100 profit. But if you run that further and further and further, you know, for a long time, then actually $1,000 enjoying a 10% gain, say 30 times in a row, is going to turn into $17,000, right? So this would be after what, like 2.5 years of 25 years of holding the same property that gains 10% value every year. You would have a 17 times return. Our goal as traders is to simply hit the same 10% profit. The real estate guy is getting it in a year. I'm trying to hit it in 2 hours. That's my goal, right? And I've demonstrated to you how easy it is to hit those kind of gains now. When you're applying a little bit of leverage, you know, on 5 times leverage, you only need a 2% move to hit 10% profit, right? You know, because 2% multiplied by your 5 times leverage is a 10% gain. So, you know, this is fairly straightforward. And look, if these kind of things don't make sense, if there's still holes and you're like, okay, I get that, but I still don't understand this big thing or whatever, that's what VIP is for. Inside of 4Fly's VIP, we've got the tutorials for you that break down all of this. We've got the courses that you're going to get for free, depending on which plan you take. You'll get all the information for it by following these steps on screen. We'll give you everything that you need to learn this stuff, and you get to see how I'm doing it in real time inside of 4Fly's VIP. It's an extremely powerful combination of things to have. The theory of learning what this stuff is, plus the practical of seeing how I implement it, is what has helped a lot of people achieve results like this. This person saying that they used to be very delusional and probably would have lost their entire bank account if they never joined VIP. I know for a fact that a lot of people have lost their entire trading portfolios just in this recent crash because they were too cocky, they didn't know what they were doing, and they've lost even, you know, many cases way more than what the VIP fee would have been. I've heard that a lot. And then people end up joining when, you know, they are at their final breaking point, they're on their knees, and they want one last chance in the game. And, you know, hopefully for those people it works out well. For some it does, and for some it doesn't. You know, here's another person right here who is a high school teacher mentioning that our Advanced Trading Academy, which is exactly what I was describing here, the course that teaches you how to do everything that I'm talking about from A to Z, teaches you all the theory, all the concepts, all the philosophies, and then all the practical parts as well, organized in a very particular way, making it very simple to navigate. This person's a high school teacher and saying that the course layout is 8+, and that to me was very cool to see, because that's exactly what I was aiming for. I wanted it to be structured in because I made it myself, right? Like I'm just a kid on my own. Like I didn't even finish school, so like I was a little bit nervous that people wouldn't like it for this exact reason, but I was very happy to see this testimonial because of that. So there you go, guys. If you want to get in on some of that action, VIP is where it's at. It's all there ready for you. I see you guys asking for information, and my assistants are online right now, so most of you have already had your responses. But if you would like to get a little bit of information about it, then you can follow these steps on the screen. We'll send you all the information about what exactly we are offering with a discount right now. So we are going to be ending that one pretty soon. It's been up for a while. We are going to be ending it fairly soon, especially because Bitcoin is dropping. So make sure that you get in on that discount if that's something you might be interested in. But I really hope you found that explanation useful. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments in the live chat right now, because I want to start a dialogue with you guys now. I'm going to talk to you guys in the comments a little bit, answer some of your questions, maybe take a look at a few of the charts that you guys are asking for, and then I'm going to switch it over to a little bit more analysis on markets like Ethereum and other markets like Cardano, for example. So there you go. There's a lot of spam right here. This is crazy. Let's see what we have in the comments. I think it's safe to say Yellow Almighty hates 4Flies. Yep. So let's see what else we have here in the live chat. If there's any questions, I'm gonna put this on slow mode because we have been getting a lot of spam lately, and actually I don't have anybody to moderate these live streams anymore. We used to have somebody moderating them, but that person, I don't even know what happened. I haven't spoken to him in a while. He just doesn't come. Weird. Although I have a problem because I forgot how to put a stream in slow chat mode. So bear with me while I figure that out. Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay, slow mode. So let's see what we have in the live chat here. If you guys have any questions, what is my price target for Ethereum? Let's stick to the concept I was just talking about right here, please. Of these exponential profits. This is what I really want to talk about for now. I think a lot of people need to hear it. This is a game-changing realization for a lot of people. It certainly was for me. It doesn't mean that we're then ruling out big profits like 108% and 74%, because they will come, and you'll see how they will come inside of the VIP group, because there are big ranges. I do hit these kind of gains as well. I've talked to you about how I got a 300% profit earlier when I went long on Bitcoin above $24,000, for example, you know. So it's entirely possible to hit these kind of gains, but if you're aiming for the smaller ones and the bigger ones just kind of happen on the side, I think that's a beautiful setup. You know, you're aiming for the smaller ones. These are really what compound your portfolio. The big ones, they happen. You're not going to say no to them, right? Like it's just there in front of you. Of course, you're going to take those opportunities, but only when they're very, very safe and right in front of you. That's the key point. So once again, if you want the information on VIP, you can follow these steps. I see that a lot of you guys have, and my assistants are replying to you guys right now. But let's go through what your questions are with regards to this specifically. If you have any questions, I would love to take a look. Let's see what else we have here. If you make 10% in 2 hours, why do I sell my courses? Well, the thing is, these courses, they're made once, and this is what a lot of people don't get. Like, I made the course once at the end of 2019, and that's it. It's money for life, right? Like, that's the business perspective. All I've got to do is shout it out. I've got another person running it, like running the onboarding stuff. I've got another guy making sure it all goes smoothly. We've got support stuff. It's nothing coming out of my time other than a shout out, and I'm already a YouTuber. You know, and it's the same thing with VIP. Nothing for me changes running VIP. When people ask like, oh, if you're making so much money from trading, why do you do X, Y, Z? Because it doesn't take more time out of my day, but it's more money. It's a business, right? Like, that should make it quite obvious, right? Like, there's nothing else I have to do other than for yearly members where I do phone calls, and I love doing that. So that's not a problem to me. You know, there's nothing else I have to take my time out for doing. I'm already making a trading journal, so I'm just funneling that information into VIP, right? I'm already executing my trades, so I'm just documenting that inside of VIP. I'm already considering my trades, so it just gets documented into VIP. That's what you're paying for access into. That's what everybody wants. And it is, I mean, we've just passed 1,200 members. We're already knocking on the door of, we're already knocking on the door of 1,300 members. So it's obviously very popular because of that. You know, because there's amazing educational value in there. So hopefully that's one of the most common questions that most influencers get. I don't like to call myself an influencer, but that's one of the most common questions that we do tend to get, and hopefully that helps. Lewis, I'll be a mod if I can get the course. Well, I mean, that's quite you can reach out on Telegram if you have offers like that. I'm not going to talk about that here, but unlikely I would do that. Because I need like a consistent mod. I actually have to pay the moderator. I can't get like a viewer to do it. Please talk about trades I set up and they don't trigger. Keep them or cancel them. I always cancel them. If I set up a trade and they don't trigger, and the market's not close to triggering it, then I will just cancel it for sure. Foresight will short the Bitcoin all the way to the bottom, and then hold tens of millions of nothing. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't plan on sticking around if Bitcoin's actually going to zero, but I don't think it is, so that's fine. Why does TA work? Please explain the psychology behind the market. Why does TA work? There are a lot of reasons that I can give you out of a textbook for why it works, but I don't know. One of the key ones, and this one's quite easy, is we might have bounced off a psychological area like 20,000 before. Let's use 30,000 because that's a little bit of an easier example. We might have bounced off 30,000 before. I'm not saying, I don't know why I'm saying might have. We did bounce off 30,000 before. So people have got this level ingrained in their head and on their chart as a potential area of support for Bitcoin. So the next time, look at this, Bitcoin falls down to this level at 30K. When it's above it, it gets a big support, and it happens again, right? The reason it happens again is because it happened the first time. So we establish some support, and that's what happens again right here. So it's a simple way of saying that, well, previously, we bounced off 30K just because it's a psychological level, just because people decide, right, at the big $30,000 round number, I want to buy Bitcoin. Because of that, and a lot of people thinking of that, the price starts surging upwards, and it starts painting a chart. It basically represents what the psychology of the market is thinking. Right here, psychology of the market is very, very excited. There's a big pump up. That tells me that the market is very adversarial right now. It tells me that the market is very easily pumped up. And of course, that can give me some indication of what a subsequent crash would look like. Because if we're doing this on the way up, we're probably going to do this on the way down as well. So that can help me form some technical analysis. Again, if we've now established this support area that we've used for quite a long time, and we then collapse below it, well, that's telling me that this was a last hope for a lot of people. A lot of people bought Bitcoin here, and if Bitcoin does end up dropping lower, well, then they're probably going to lose faith if it drops below that support level. This is technical analysis, but you can see very clearly how actually it's giving you a massive edge on the market, because it then allows you to predict where you might get a big drop in the market, and at that place where you're going to get a big drop in the market is where someone like myself will step in and trade it and make money from those kind of gaps. Now, obviously, we're doing it on in a little bit more of a complex way with analysis like this $30,000, $36,000 level where I told you I went short on Bitcoin. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but we're running with the same basic ideas, and so that's one reason, that's one way that TA works. But there's a lot of other reasons like that, and it's difficult to really lay them all out. But hopefully that helps a little bit. I make it sound so easy. I guess you're a billionaire if the method works. What's my net worth? Yeah, like as if I'd say that on a live stream. I don't know why you'd even ask that. The point is, look, in principle, this is the thing, like in principle, when you're trying to compound those gains, it is easy. That's the point, right? Like we're not aiming for things that are difficult. We're aiming to break them up into easily chewable, digestible steps. 20% profit is not as intimidating as asking for a 10 times return on some shit coin that no one's ever heard of. It's very easy compared to that to hit a 20% profit in a couple of hours. That's the point. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, make it sound so easy. That's because it fucking is easier, right? Like, it is easier than what you've already been thinking of in the market before. And this is what a lot of people don't get. It's so frustrating. Well, it's frustrating for me because I got to teach it, but like in general, I'm thankful for it because that, the people who don't get it are the people that, traders like myself will take money from. But, the point is that it really, like, that's it. Like, that's the whole deal. It's not actually as complicated as most people make it out to be. And it's the same thing with analysis too, right? Like, you guys have noticed my analysis is super simple. At the beginning of this live stream, I used the Ichimoku cloud, the EMA ribbon, and that's it. The rest of this live stream, I've been using these horizontal lines, these yellow lines, these blue boxes. That's it. The green boxes, that's it. I'm not using any indicators. Why do people put more complex indicators on it? Like, look at how many indicators there are on TradingView, right? Like, this is ridiculous. Look at this. Like, there's probably a bunch of crazy shit. What is get trend strategy? Look at this shit. Like, not to throw shade on anybody in particular, this isn't really, look at this, right? Like, okay, this is actually pretty good, but there's, a lot of people will throw a bunch of indicators on it. Actually, this would make you overtrade like shit. Like, you'd barely make any money and you'd end up paying much more back in fees, So the point is that, there's a lot of indicators that you could choose from if you really wanted to, but at the end of the day, they're just going to confuse you. And, most people who throw on these crazy indicators that are just going to give them more information. And, each indicator is going to be useful for some reason, right? Like, that's why you're seeing it, having a lot of likes on TradingView. They are going to be useful indicators that you could end up using and potentially benefit you in your analysis. But at the end of the day, you don't need them if you've nailed the basics very well. This is the thing, like, people do this with analysis and they do it with trades. With trades, they're aiming for crazy things that are just not easily achievable and reproducible, because that reproducible element is where you enter compounding profits, right? You 10% profit on its own is nothing. A 10% profit compounded 30 times is bloody spectacular. So it's the reproducibility that we're looking for. You don't get that when you're throwing on a bunch of different indicators on your chart and you're confusing yourself, right? So it's a much more simple approach to trading. It's the same thing with analysis, right? Like, if you do it well, you don't need to throw a bunch of crazy indicators on your chart. The analogy that I used to give when my channel was a little bit smaller and I was talking a little bit more freely than now but fuck it, I don't really care. In fact, I know you guys love it. Is I'm not throwing on a bunch of different indicators to compensate for what I'm lacking for downstairs. You know, it's a little bit of a joke to basically say that, you know, people who are self-conscious and scared and worried that they're not doing good TA will try and pile on a bunch of different shit-munching indicators to, you know, to make them feel like they have an edge on the market, whereas in reality, all they need to do is go back to the basics and do the basics very well, and that's usually enough. That's usually enough. It certainly has been for me, and I've been trading in this market the way I'm doing right now for 3 years, right? So it's been enough for me. It's worked out quite well. You know, that's Four Flies being very passionate right there. That's, I think, very, very important to keep in mind. I hope that helps you guys a little bit. If you have questions, do make sure that you actually write my name, by the way. If you write my name in the comments, I will be able to see it. Otherwise, I won't. And that would prevent me from seeing your comment and therefore prevent me from understanding. Answering you. So let's see what else we have in the comments today. How wide of a range do I keep for opening the price of my trade? I don't understand your question. Can you reword that, please? Did I lose money in the beginning? Absolutely, of course I did. I lost a lot of money at the beginning. Give it to him straight, Four Flies. I mean, that's exactly what this is, yeah. Someone's asking for the membership tiers for VIP. You can get all the information following these steps. It'll take you less than 30 seconds. Like I said, if you click the first link and it comes up blank, you will need to download the Telegram app on iOS or Android. Again, it's completely free. It's a very small download, and it is the go-to app for all traders. So if you're not already on it, you're already doing yourself a disservice. So you should be on it anyway, as a trader, in my opinion. Is there going to be any more analysis? Well, this was focusing on a lot of the psychology of the markets, which I actually think is more important. But I'll go to the extra like Ethereum analysis and stuff in just a minute. I just want to see what other questions you guys have. I love this comment right here. Four Flies, I hated this channel earlier, but after roaming around all over YouTube and seeing FUDs, I came back. Best on point TA channel. You know, I'm getting called out for giving a lot of FUD on this market, like fear, uncertainty, doubt, for spreading fear, uncertainty, doubt in this market right now. I'm getting called out for that a lot. But the reality is this market has been bearish, and I've been right about it. I was selling my crypto way earlier. I was telling VIPs why I was doing it. Bam, look at this. Down at up at $52,000, I started selling my Bitcoin. This post was written while Ethereum was trading at about $4,300, where I mentioned that I was considering selling part or all of my holdings. And then I did later on in the day. I sold 50% of them. You know, I've been bearish before this market turned bearish, and that's what I get a lot of hate for. And that's exactly why I'm not changing my opinions on this stuff. Because if I was in wide agreement with the market, ladies and gents, if I was saying stuff and the YouTube comment sections or whatever actually agreed with me, that would tell me that if I'm agreeable with 90% of the retail who happen to be watching YouTube, which is obviously not the big guys in Wall Street with their massive fancy $10,000 suits that are actually manipulating the markets, you know, if I'm in agreement with the YouTube comment sections, what's that going to tell me about how likely I am to be right or wrong? Who typically loses money? Right? It's the 90% of the retail. So if I'm in wide agreement with you guys, that's telling me I'm in the wrong place, right? And obviously, like, a channel like this is going to have a more turned on, focused audience, you know, so it's not quite the same, but a lot of the time it is actually that bad, right? So if I was the guy saying, you know, whatever, and I didn't actually change my opinions or whatever, and everyone was agreeing with me the whole way down, you know, I wouldn't, not only I wouldn't have sold my Bitcoin or anything like that much earlier, like where I did, I would just be in an overall much worse position in the market. And, you know, if that's where you want to be, that's cool. You want to be, you know, go play some poker, you know, go play some slot machines or something. What you want is to be social, you know. If you want to be right and you want to make money in the market, well, that's a different thing altogether. And it does involve, you know, being bearish when the market is bearish, for example. You know, I was calling for this drop for a long time. Those of you who are subscribed, you would know that quite clearly in this market right now. Guys, smash up those like buttons if you're enjoying this live stream. This is one of my favorite live streams I've done in a while. You can tell I'm fired up. You know, I'm absolutely all for it right now. So yeah, someone mentioned there's a lot of negative people showing up in YouTubers lives lately. It's just because Bitcoin's in a bear market. It happens. Like, it happened before as well. It was pretty bad for everybody, but you know, kind of you get used to it. You just kind of tune it out and ignore it. FUD Four Flies understands the market. I love that. Thank you very much, Rupert. How do I decide my stop loss? Usually, so my stop loss for I entered a short position at roughly right here, this level. My stop loss was here, which was to say that Bitcoin basically, I wouldn't want to be in this position if Bitcoin rised above these highs, above these wicks. Here, here, and here. If Bitcoin went above these wicks, that to me would mean that Bitcoin's going to start trending higher. That's why, so I basically put my stop loss on a short position above resistance. Which is why, if I didn't lower my stop loss down to break even, which I did, if I didn't lower it, I would still be in that position right now, and it would be, you know, a 30% profit, which would be pretty fantastic, because obviously I think it's coming even lower down to 32. I always found value in your videos. No fluff, no hype, just clear analysis, good or bad. That's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. You know, we're not here to hype things up or where, I mean, the titles are there for that, obviously. But, you know, beyond that, you know, that we're not looking to hit emotions. We're looking to hit profits. Less emotions, more profits. That's what we're all about. My favorite one is when people think I'm trying to take the market lower, so I can take your money, the viewers. That's hilarious. I wish I had that level of influence. I'd be like Elon Musk. I'd be pumping and dumping shit every day. I'd be exactly like Elon Musk. Don't even tell me you wouldn't. What am I doing in LA? God, I'm doing a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, that's for sure. What is the probability of going below 30k in the next 2 days? I couldn't say. Maybe 20%. In the next week, maybe 60%. In the next month, probably 80%. I don't know. I have no idea. What are the chances of a V-shaped recovery once whales crash? I think a V-shaped recovery is very likely. Very likely. How long before a rebound after we hit 20k bottom? I think we would rebound instantly. If we fell down to $20,000, I think we would bounce up 20,000 instantly. For flights for 3 to 6 hours, it keeps dumping, but now we're consolidating in the 1 hour. Not really consolidating. I don't think so. I think this is just going to keep going down. I mean, it could find support, but there's no support to be found in this range, so that wouldn't really make any sense. The MRI seems quite accurate most of the time. Why am I not using it in my trades? Because I don't know how to use it as well as Tone, so I'd rather just watch his analysis. I've used it a little bit fairly well a few times, but for the most part he uses it much better, so I'd rather just watch him. Why was I so bullish a few weeks ago? Because the trend was bullish. But it doesn't mean that I lost money. This is the thing, like, even though I was bullish, I was still selling my Bitcoin, right? Like, you can be bullish as an analyst and bearish as a trader. You know what I mean? Like, they're two different things. And if you think that they're the same thing, it's because you got too much pride and ego involved here. You know, like, just because your analysis was wrong, it does not mean that your trades have to be wrong too. That's a really big thing that most people don't get. You know, like, I was obviously bullish on the way up, and it didn't stop me from selling my Bitcoin anyway at $52,000. That's probably the most important thing that a lot of people miss. You're like, I literally bought a house with this money. In fact, I think it's right here. Do I show it here? I think so. Yeah, right here. This is a McLaren that I rented. Can I show this to you? No, I can't. This is a McLaren that I rented, and behind in the background is my house. I bought this in Dubai. By the way, this is my only Instagram page. Sammy Loyal 1_. That's it. This is my only Instagram page. Anything else is an impersonator. If you get DM'd, it's an impersonator. I don't even DM people on anything, by the way. Ever. I don't DM people. So if you get a DM, it's not me. This is my only Instagram page. I am doing an LA meetup eventually. I don't know, at some point before I leave. I haven't figured it out yet, but when I do, it'll be on my Instagram story. Greetings from Estonia, the best honest crypto channel. Really enjoying the content. Thank you very much. Do I follow any other YouTuber for TA? I follow Tone Vase and occasionally Crypto Kirby, and that's it. Tell us a little bit more about volume. I don't use it, so I wouldn't want to talk about it. I don't think it's very useful. I used to love it, but I don't think it's useful anymore. 32k is a strong support in my opinion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I don't think it's that strong. If I'm in San Francisco, dinner and drinks on me. Thank you very much. I don't plan on going to San Francisco, unfortunately. I would only go there if I could do the drive down, but it's very hard for me to rent cars out here because I'm underage. I would love to do the PCH drive the whole way. Alright, let's see if we have any final questions before I switch it back to the TA. Just going through your questions. Thank you all for hitting up those likes, by the way. I do appreciate you. We're already at 700. Let's get this up to 1,000. Channel's been blowing up recently. Thank you all very much for your support in subscribing to the channel as well. Obviously the content is great, so if you are enjoying it, then the best way to, well, the only way to make sure that you keep on catching it is by subscribing. And of course you can also follow the link to our free Telegram channel with the first link down below. This is going to give you even more analysis from myself and my team and alerts on these live streams and things like that as well. So let me keep going through your questions. Bear with me. What country do I use for Bybit? Anything that's not the US or UK or Canada is probably good. Probably good. Yeah. I just use VPN, like I said. One final time, by the way, we are literally on like the last day for this Bybit bonus. Up to $1,600 free. You can do whatever you want with it. You can put 100x leverage on it, gamble it, do something stupid, and the profit is yours. Or you can do something sensible, like just use it as play money to maybe do some real trades, or get to know the buttons on the exchange, and you're not risking your own money. All you have to do is sign up to Bybit and make a deposit before the end of the month. That's it. And then you can withdraw your deposit straight away. I've been using them for years. I love them. It's linked down below along with my tutorial for Bybit as well. I missed the start of the stream. Please go back. I don't want to repeat it for everybody else. How much did I lose at the beginning? Everything. Multiple times. Everything. Everything. It was sad. Zoom out to the 4 hour. Are we in a rising wedge? Let's take a look at that. A rising wedge on the 4 hour. Well, if anything, this looks more like a symmetrical triangle to me than a rising wedge. Is that? I don't know. I don't see a rising wedge here. I see, yeah, more like a triangle. A triangle that looks a little bit like this. That would make a lot more sense to me. Which is still a bearish pattern. So this is the thing, like when you're in a bearish market, it doesn't matter what you draw, it's gonna look bearish just because the trend is bearish. And that's not a bad thing, because that means that in a trend where the default movement is downward, you're going to be correct. You know, like I'm not in the business of picking out reversals. I'm very happy to stay bearish. This is a big deal, guys. Let me blow up my camera real quick. Like, I am very happy to be bearish and stay bearish and be correct about the first 6 moves, and then the market reverses on the 7th time and I'm wrong on attempt number 7. You know why I'm so happy about that? Because I made a shitload of profit on the first 6 tries, that on number 7, because I have a stop loss and I'm exercising good risk management, I am gonna lose a little bit of money. But I have a stop loss. I'm exercising good risk management. That loss is not going to do anything compared to the 6 profitable trades that I had before that. That's the point. Right? That's what good trading looks like. You know and you accept that eventually you're going to make money. I'm sorry, that you're going to lose money, but it doesn't matter because you're exercising good risk management. You're not going all in. You're using stop losses. You're carefully considering which trades you enter. So I'm like, being wrong is not a bad thing if you're exercising risk management. It's gonna happen. You know, like, you're gonna be wrong. You may as well lean into it. This is the thing that, you know, like, a lot of people are like, well, I just want a 100% success rate and I want to make 10 times my money tomorrow. All right, like, go to a slot machine then. Why are you here? This is not easy. This is not like something you come in and you put your money somewhere that's trendy and you take it out after a week and you made profit. How did that go for you, Doge holders? How did that go for you, XRP holders? Idiots, right? Like, there's no other way around it. They're idiots. Look at this. From the all-time high down to its current price, down by 60%. Right? Like, there's no other way around it. I'm giving it to you 100% straight right now. This is what I would be saying to you if I was sitting across from you in a cafe or a restaurant or whatever and we were actually meeting. I would openly call them idiots because that's what they are. Right? Like, you're putting your money in a gamble, you know, just because Elon Musk is tweeting about it. How's that going for you, Ripple Army? You know what I mean? Like, from the all-time, this wasn't even an all-time high, but from this high down to our current price, we're down by 58%. And it dumps instantly, right? Like, Bitcoin, it was consolidating and then it got its big crash. These shit coins dump instantly. You don't even have time to exit your position. You're up there for a day. The next day, you've initiated a big drop where you're already down by 50%. There's no other way around it, right? Like, you can't reproduce this kind of success in this market. It's just, you know, it crashes, it rebounds massively. You know, like, I don't care what you think about the fundamentals of XRP, of the Ripple Foundation or whatever. I'm not here to analyze that. I honestly couldn't care less. I'm only here to trade and make money. You know, and from that perspective, this is pretty terrible. It's pretty bad. Let's see what else we have here in the comments today. Is there a Wyckoff accumulation scheme happening right now? I don't know because I'm not a Wyckoff analyst. I don't know enough about that to comment on it. That's why I'm not talking about it. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a day there. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to give you some final analysis as promised. I want to take a look at Ethereum. I haven't actually done that recently. It's looking pretty terrible. Yep, it's looking pretty terrible. It's failed the $2,500 area. We did manage to rise above it and find some support. By the way, I'm not going to stop saying it until way later. This arrow right here is where I sold my Ethereum. No, this is where I announced I was selling it. And then it was somewhere here that I sold it. 50% of all my Ethereum I sold. Against Bitcoin, not against USD, but still pretty impressive. That's this post inside of Force VIP. Go ahead and pause the video and read it. This is what you can be getting inside of VIP. This is an example of the kind of trade setup that I share inside of VIP. And this is an example of how I give real-time updates on it. VIP members have been killing it with access to our training courses, where I'm teaching them exactly how I trade and how I carry out analysis and all the philosophies behind trading from A to Z. So if you're completely new to the game, you've never done this before, that's who this course is designed for. Very, very important to keep in mind. And then others who are at a profit during the crash as well. We teach this stuff inside of the course as well. So it goes from the ground up, right? So if you're intermediate, the course is still going to have content for you. If you're advanced but well, if you're advanced, you might not even be watching these videos, but if you're advanced and you watch these videos, you're probably not that advanced. The course will have some content for you. And you know, the course is obviously not for people who don't need these videos. So that's worth keeping in mind. I mean, it is just blowing off right now. If you want in, it's right here. Like I said, my assistants are online responding to you guys. So I do see you guys have had your responses. If you've reached out, we are running that discount. So definitely take advantage of it while it's there. But yeah, let me go back to Ethereum real quick. It has dropped a little bit. I think that, yeah, support at 2,000, 2,100 is the next bet. But really it's at the mercy of Bitcoin, so not much point analyzing this, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to talk about these things too much because they're just going to do whatever Bitcoin's going to do, in my opinion. Alright guys, I'm going to call it a day right there. I hope you all have enjoyed this live stream. Thank you all so much for hitting up those likes and subscribing if you've done so already. I really do appreciate you all. If you've been enjoying this content, then go ahead and do exactly that. It's going to make sure that you keep on watching these videos, and it's going to help this channel out. If you're not already a member of the beautiful Bybit exchange, as you guys know I love them so much, then go ahead and sign up with with one of the links in the description down below. They are giving you a beautiful trading bonus right now. I'm using a VPN because I'm in the United States. The way to get that trading bonus, if you haven't gotten it already, is you sign up with that link down below, make any deposit, and you're going to get it's a deposit above, I don't know, like $100 or something. I don't remember the minimum. Make a deposit, and you're going to, according to how much you deposit, you're going to get some free cash to trade with as well. So you can keep that. You can do whatever you like with it, up to $1,600. And if you do want to join Forfly's VIP, then you can follow these steps on screen and get all the information for that as well right there. Hope you all have enjoyed this live stream. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I definitely feel like it's been one of the more real ones for a while. And of course, I'm going to keep on bringing these live streams to you while the market is hot as well. So you guys can count on me for that. Awesome live stream. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. I've enjoyed this live stream very much. I'm glad you have, Roberta. Forflies need to tell people the truth. The TA is solid. Need to tell you people. I don't understand this comment. I'm sorry. Thanks, love it. Big shout out. My mate Tenas Baba in Malibu. I don't get your comments right now. Anyway, guys, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I'm gonna call it a day there. I got hungry, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video or live stream.